What's going on YouTube? Today we're reacting to the $1 billion bubble that almost broke. Nadeshot golf cart dropped this about 6 days ago. You know they make some bomb videos. We've been reacting to a lot of them lately, so we're gonna react to another. I'm gonna like it just because I know it's gonna be good before I even watch it. But let's go.
Esports was a gold rush, packed stadiums, mainstream legitimacy. Analysts promised it would be the next NFL or NBA. And with that promise came billions of dollars. Investors were writing blank checks, funding sprawling LA headquarters, superstar contracts, and Hollywood-level production teams. And at the center of it all was Nadeshot, a gamer who went from flipping burgers at McDonald's to building an empire. With 100 Thieves, that empire exploded. A-list investors and 9-figure valuations, the trajectory of esports continued to point straight towards the moon.
Yeah, I remember watching it.
But what no one seemed to realize was that this was the height of a billion-dollar bubble, and bubbles only have one destiny: to pop.
Damn.
Now, to understand all of this, we really
I guess so. I guess you can't argue with that.
Back to 2008. Growing up in the Chicago suburbs, Matthew
had I remember that he is from Chicago.
Craved that rush of being on a team, of fighting for a win. The only problem, when it came to traditional sports, he just wasn't built for it. He was never the fastest or the most athletic. He really struggled to find his place on a team. But deep down, that fire to compete never went away. He just needed the right place to prove himself.
Xbox, baby!
And he found it in a black and green box his parents brought home one day. An Xbox 360. The first time he loaded up Halo 2, the physical world and its limitations simply disappeared.
Boom, boom. That's the 2-for-1, baby.
Here, skill wasn't about how fast you could run or how high you could jump. It was about strategy and reflexes. He devoured every competitive shooter he could get his hands on, from Halo to Gears of War and finally to Call of Duty.
And Nadeshot, he's sitting main hall, looking around. He's looking to pick up a kill. He's just standing there still. Oh, and he gets shot.
Gaming quickly morphed from a hobby into a full-blown obsession, and it turns out Matt was actually pretty good. Soon, crushing his friends just wasn't good enough. He needed a real challenge, and that search led him to the early, gritty world of online tournaments. Before long, he'd outgrown the bedroom grind and was standing alongside some of the best players in the country. With his team, Mob Genesis, he landed a 4th place finish at the 2009 MLG National Championship. For the first time, it felt like he discovered his thing. Somewhere
I remember when like esports was first coming up, and it was becoming like when even like Facebook had guy esports and things like that, and it was like it was just like almost like I felt like a turning stone, and I don't know how to explain it in the internet world sort of thing, or just our world in general of going to a broader, like having a different type of sports out there than just, physical. Now they have video games and people are competing. There's money. There's all this. It was a crazy thing. We're still going on, obviously, and then still is pretty.
But here's
I think a lot.
Not everyone around him agreed.
But
his
I guess
mom
this
was
is
especially worried about the hours he poured into the screen. And honestly, back in 2008, she had a point. Esports was barely even a word, let alone an industry. There weren't $1 million Fortnite winners, no headlines talking about gamers turning passionate.
You know what I'm saying?
To a parent, 8 to 10 hours a day on Xbox didn't seem like training for the future. It looked like a problem. So his mom laid down the law. He had to get a real job, and he ended up at the local McDonald's.
McDonald's, man.
The goal was to
Mickey
teach
D, baby,
and pull him away from the Xbox, but it had the exact opposite effect. For the first time, Matt had his own money, a budget for better monitors, new controllers, and tournament entry fees. The job that was meant to end his gaming career was now funding it.
That's fine though. How long you make me get a job, bitch? I'm gonna fucking get, and I'm gonna be rich.
And working the counter in the drive-thru window taught him something even more valuable than the game itself: how to communicate. That shy kid who struggled to find his place was now learning how to connect with people, how to be confident, and how to express himself. And those were the skills that unlocked the path.
Beginning
with the moment he pointed a camera at himself, hit record, and introduced the world to Nadeshot.
Nadeshot.
Doing. This is Nadeshot.
Oh, come on! I didn't mean to do that, gang.
Window taught him something
cool. It works out.
How to communicate. That shy kid who struggled to find his place was now learning how to connect with people, how to be confident, and how to express himself.
Again, playing
skills that would unlock a path even bigger than competitive gaming. Beginning with the moment he pointed a camera at himself, hit record, and introduced the world to Nadeshot.
YouTube, how the you doing? This is Nadeshot.
By June 2010, Matt, now known online as Nadeshot, had become one of the rising stars of Call of Duty. And just as his name was breaking through, another force was taking shape. a team called
Optic
Optic
Gaming,
Optic was
baby.
the brainchild of Hector Hex Rodriguez. Hex's eye for talent went beyond pure mechanics. In Nadeshot, he identified a relentless drive that he believed was the true mark of a future champion. So Hex took a chance on it. He banked on the idea that with this kind of work ethic, the top-tier skill would eventually follow. He brought Nadeshot onto the team, believing that a player who wanted it badly
Look at this
could
team.
truly go the
Look.
distance. But
Yo, seeing they shot that young. Oh.
Hex took a chance on it. He banked on the idea that with this kind of work ethic, the top-tier skill would eventually follow. He brought Nadeshot onto the team, believing
Oh, come on. I don't mean to keep doing that. Goddammit.
taking shape.
Oh, here. Let's just start from here. That's great.
Mark of a future
Sorry, guys. I
champion.
suck at
So
this.
Hex took a
apparently.
chance on it. He banked on the idea that with this kind of work ethic, the top-tier skill would eventually follow. He brought Nadeshot onto the team.
What's his name? Sing Scump and they shot that young's kind of crazy.
Believing
Bring
that a
back
player who wanted
memories.
it that
That's all I
badly
can
could
say.
truly go the distance. But
I'm watching the videos on YouTube and shit. What the hell happened? Fuck this ad about? Fuck this ad about, gang? Alright, we're back. Oh. Damn. Poor Nadeshot. Yeah, we gotta skip past. Sorry about that. He looks so weird, so young. Seeing him young is so crazy. Because it's so long ago, you know what I'm saying? Madden 12. My favorite Madden game of all time, Madden 12. Shut 11. I wasn't even watching phase yet. I was even in the YouTube watch. I watched YouTube. But I think I was watching like more sports, like MLB The Show, Madden, like basketball, 2K, or NBA Live even. That's crazy. That's far. Damn, bro. That's the bro. Yo, why can't you guys see, gang? What was that about?
XP
Oh.
2011 champions.
Nadeshot and Optic were
He basically almost fell off that guy.
In the heat of the celebration, his first instinct was to call home. He told his parents that he had just won $100,000 playing Call of Duty. At first, they were stunned, but when the reality sank in, they finally saw what he had always believed. Gaming could be a real career.
I'm gonna tell your story. You're in college, but you made it very public that you worked at McDonald's. Yeah. For a little while, Nadeshot. You just made $100 grand. How does that feel?
I don't want to work at McDonald's anymore.
He quit his job at McDonald's and committed himself fully to competing and creating content. But just as his career really began to take off, tragedy struck back at home.
What happened?
On the morning of October 4th, 2012, he woke up to a missed call from his dad. His mom's health had been declining, and the moment he saw the call, he knew something was wrong. When he called back, it rang a few times, until eventually his dad picked up.
His mom died? Maybe I knew that.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Nadeshot from Optic Gaming, and some of you may have heard in the past couple days on Twitter, if you follow me or anybody else, that my mom actually passed away at the age of 47 on Saturday night. She died in her sleep. It's kind of a gruesome detail, but
The days that followed were heavy. Family and friends gathered to say goodbye, and Matt was left facing a loss that would stay with him forever. For most people, grief can bring life to a halt. For Matt, it became a kind of engine. The pain didn't go away, but channeling it into his work gave him purpose. Some nights he uploaded just to keep from sitting in the quiet. Every tournament, every late night stream, every piece of content became an outlet, a way to keep moving forward when standing still hurt too much.
What I do want to talk about is life and how quickly it can change. When my mom first started getting sick, when I was a young kid, she had seizures, and we never really knew prior to that she had epilepsy. So when she had her first seizure, we didn't really know what it was. And as the years went on and she got sicker and she got sicker, and it just kept rolling and rolling and getting worse and getting worse, and she just...
I don't think I knew this, to be honest.
Oh man, I didn't think this commentary was going to go here.
My mom was never really understood what I was doing. She never really understood the concept of YouTube and live streaming and winning tournaments. I never really thought that this was gonna come this far. I never really thought that I was gonna make it this far in gaming. And it sucks because I wish she was still around to see where everything has come, because I went through a lot of hardships. I struggled. I didn't know if I was gonna have enough money to pay rent. I didn't know if I should go back to school. I didn't know if I made the wrong decision by quitting my job in school. And there was a lot of questions that I had that needed answering soon, but when Black Ops 2 finally did come out, my channel in January and February just started exploding.
The release of Black Ops 2 in November of 2012 really marked the beginning of one of the most iconic eras of gaming. Within 24 hours of the release, Black Ops 2 had cleared $500 million in sales, breaking a list of records too long to count, and proving just how massive gaming had become. Around the same time was the launch of the iPhone 5, and it seemed like myself and just about all of my friends were all of a sudden getting their first smartphones. Wi-Fi was getting better, social media was blowing up, and trickshot montages were playing on loop. With 2013 coming into the picture, Nadeshot moved into the Optic Gaming house, landed a massive sponsorship with Red Bull, and his YouTube channel cleared 250,000 subscribers, then 500,000, then 750,000, and even 1 million subscribers, where Nadeshot finally claimed his very own gold play button.
They even
That's
have my
what's
name
up.
on there. Look at that. Congratulations for surpassing 1 million subscribers. Optic Nadeshot on YouTube.
The records Black Ops 2 had set the year prior were completely shattered by the release of GTA 5 in September. earning over $800 million day one and clearing $1
Yo,
billion by day three.
damn! But
Those records
that game's
stand
still
today.
going crazy.
Now, if Rockstar ever
And-
decides to drop GTA 6, maybe that'll change. But speaking of things we're never going to see, in
He
November
said-
2013,
I know, 'cause I was about to bring it up and then he said- well, not that.
finally put to rest. Microsoft rolled out their latest and greatest console, the
Xbox
and this was the
One.
rebuttal to Sony's PlayStation 4, which, as an Xbox user myself, PS4 definitely won that fight. But either way, both of these consoles took gaming to a whole new level. With social media now in the pockets of just about every teenage guy on the planet, Optic vs FaZe Clan became one of the biggest rivalries in all of esports. And with Nadeshot captaining the ship, Optic would go on to win countless tournaments in the Call of Duty franchise, with the pinnacle being at the MLG X Games in 2014.
Ever since I watched Halo 2 as a young kid on MLG, I dreamed about winning an MLG event. And for this to finally happen, plus a gold medal at the X Games, it's literally a dream come true.
But by 2015, the weight of it all had began to show. Competing at the highest level meant living under constant pressure, and being both the face of Optic online and team captain in tournaments made that pressure double. The joy of competition was still there, but so was the exhaustion.
If you guys asked me 2 months ago if I was going to be making a video like this, I would have told you were absolutely crazy. Things change, people change, situations change, so I'm gonna cut straight to the chase. Basically, I am going to be taking a break from competitive Call of Duty, a leave of absence, if you will.
The end with Optic wasn't sudden. It unfolded gradually, as Matt realized his vision no longer fit within the team he'd grown up in. He had helped turn Optic into a powerhouse, but what pulled at him now was the idea of creating something of his own. Leaving meant walking away from teammates who felt like family, and from a chapter that had defined his life. But it also cleared space for the next idea, one that had been quietly building in the background. Nadeshot's move to launch his own gaming org really couldn't have come at a better time, because esports was no longer some basement hobby. It was cocaine for investors, a brand new high everyone wanted a hit of. The money in gaming had grown to be completely outrageous. In 2019, a 16-year-old kid named Booga walked
Yeah,
out
that
with
was crazy. I remember that
$3
shit.
million in his pocket.
I
$3
remember.
million. Tiger Woods won the Masters that same year, one of the biggest sports events on the planet, and made just over $2 million.
Oh,
a
wow.
teenage kid who barely needed to shave went band for band with Tiger and won. But it wasn't just
He
the
said went
Masters.
band
Teams
for
themselves
band
were
with
flavor-like
Tiger.
tech startups on steroids. FaZe Clan,
I'm
born from
dead.
4 guys in an Xbox party,
That's what he
all of a
said,
sudden
I
got
just
slapped with a $1
fucking
billion
funny.
valuation. Traditional sports owners were buying in, celebrities were cutting checks, sneaker brands were collabing on drops. Esports felt like the next NBA, the next NFL, the next gold mine. It was the Wild West of gaming, and every gunslinger
I remember this.
thought they were about to strike oil. The sponsorship deals were flying, merch was selling out, and Twitch streams were pulling stadium-sized audiences night after night. It was intoxicating. For stars in the esports world at that time, it felt like the ceiling didn't exist, like you couldn't lose. 100 Thieves kicked things off with a $10 million investment from the founder of Rocket Mortgage and owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Dan Gilbert.
I don't want to beat around the bush any more than I have to, so I'm just going to say it, and then we're going to talk specifics. So, my company, 100 Thieves, has received a multi-million-dollar investment from Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, to help me build my business.
Backed by such a massive investment, Nadeshot was able to immediately secure a spot in the NALCS and sign some of the hottest talent in esports. This was his chance to take everything that he had learned at Optic and build his own vision from the ground up. From the start, Nade made sure his players followed the same blueprint that had made him successful, living in content houses, competing in tournaments, and building their personal brands online. And as a result, even when titles were hard to come by for the first several years, that formula helped 100 Thieves quickly establish a devoted fan base. The organization launched an apparel line that instantly took off. Limited drops would sell out in minutes, transforming 100 Thieves from a team into a cultural brand. In 2018, they closed a $25 million Series A funding round co-led by Scooter Braun and Drake, who both became co-owners. More rounds
Oh, that's
followed,
crazy, I didn't even
$35
know.
million in 2019,
I
$60
didn't even
million in
know that,
2021.
chat.
That same year, they unveiled something that became a symbol of the dream itself, a 15,000 square foot headquarters in the heart of Los Angeles. And the vision kept expanding. The roster stacked up with more and more star-studded names. The content grew sharper, louder, more ambitious.
What time?
Merchandise stopped being just merch and started becoming real products people actually wanted in their daily lives. Then came the headline that stopped people in their tracks. Gaming company 100 Thieves is now worth $460
Whoa.
million.
The valuation by Forbes of $460 million for 100 Thieves.
For Matt, it was the full circle moment. The kid who once wore a McDonald's uniform, cashing out fries for minimum wage, was now standing at the helm of one of the most valuable gaming organizations in the world. There was just one problem. This was the height of $1 billion bubble. and bubbles only have one destiny.
Oh, so this isn't good. This is gonna end bad, bro?
Esports as an industry never reached
That
the
can't
scale
be
those
good.
investors were betting on. Viewership was strong on Twitch, but translating that into reliable revenue streams like ticket sales, sponsorships, and media rights proved to be fragile. Teams were burning through venture capital at an alarming rate, waiting for the market to mature. But it never did. Behind the scenes, the brand that once seemed untouchable was bleeding cash. Sponsorships plateaued, merch revenue dipped as hype cycles cooled. The cost of running multiple competitive rosters, paying star salaries, and maintaining the content machine outpaced what was coming in. By 2023 and 2024, the layoffs began. Talented staff, the same people who built the culture, were suddenly gone. Whole departments were gutted. What had once been marketed as a lifestyle empire was being stripped out of survival mode. And it wasn't just 100 Thieves. Across esports, the bubble investors inflated was popping. Valuations that once reached hundreds of millions evaporated overnight.
The dad's like, I don't even know what's happening right now.
Oh,
I the big.
His his vision for what gaming could be unraveled under the weight of a broken business model. But the toll wasn't just on the company, it was on him. He had started as a gamer, building his name by being raw, unfiltered, and always present online. But as 100 Thieves grew, he had to trade the controller for boardrooms. Overnight, he was learning how to pitch investors, draft financial projections, and shoulder the responsibility of hundreds of employees. In the process, his identity shifted. The daily uploads slowed, his streams lost the spark, and months would go by in silence without an upload. Fans who once felt like they knew him began to feel that distance. His online presence, once the beating heart of his career, wasn't what it used to be. By the time 100 Thieves went downhill and he stepped down as CEO, he wasn't just letting go of the company. He was left staring at a version of himself he barely recognized, a community he'd grown distant from. The question was, what came next? Because if he wasn't the CEO of 100 Thieves anymore, who was he? I like to think of life as a pendulum, always in motion, swinging back and forth between the highs and lows. The momentum might carry us to opposite extremes. Moments of triumph to moments of struggle.
Nadeshot is irrelevant to it. Financial and internal. For the third time, layoffs at 100 Thieves.
But the rhythm never stops, and no matter how far it swings, it always arcs back, returning us to where we began, only with a different perspective than before. For Nadeshot, that meant going back to his roots.
The last 6 months of last year were really hard for me because I thought that I was going to leave the company because the pressure of running the business was just too much. But yeah, building a business is really, really hard. And you need good people around you to be able to do it. It's stressful.
So I told them, I'm like, I need to be like a fan of 100 Thieves again, away from this stress, so I can actually trust the decisions that I'm making and help you guys make informed decisions on everything from here on out without me being tied down to the weight of this business. Because I don't know what's right and what's wrong anymore.
So then 100 Thieves kind of turned into this battle now with myself like I would have when I wasn't interested in taking photos anymore. I don't enjoy doing this right now, and I need to find another creative outlet.
I told my wife, which, you know, at the time, like with a baby on the way, I'm like, honey, I don't know if it'll work, but I'm going to be losing my mind for the rest of my life if I don't try it at least once. Just like, I got to try it one time again just to see what happens.
On October 2nd, 2024, Nadeshot returned to streaming on YouTube after not going live there since 2017. But the decision to stream on YouTube wasn't about starting fresh. It was about being visible to both his core audience and brand new viewers. And that mattered, because only 30 days later, he started streaming 24/7 in what was his first ever subathon.
Boys, we're doing a subathon. We're live 24/7 for the next however long. We'll see you in the chat.
For the next however long.
I want to shake your hand real bad.
It had everything: gaming, tattoo sessions, a front row watch party as 100 Thieves, claimed first at Kayson's Showdown 5 tournament, all of which put him on a rocket to being among the top 5 most sub streamers on Twitch. He was back in his element, doing what he does best, and enjoying every second of it. And in the blink of an eye,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm screaming on Twitch all the time.
$250 million of revenue for the month. A number most people, I mean hell, most streamers won't see in years. By the end of the subathon, Nadeshot had his answer. Streaming was exactly what he was supposed to be doing, and it was proof that this was the future. But that proof didn't come from view counts or paychecks. It came from people. From the chat spamming messages deep into the night, to the clips circulating across social media, to his wife and daughter by his side, everywhere he looked there was support. And for Nade, that realization hit harder than any paycheck ever could.
This is some real ass shit, man, dead ass. 2 years ago, I was in between a rock and a hard place, man. I
I lost a lot of confidence in like the things that I was doing every day and the decisions I was making, man. And that was kind of like the first time where, with a baby on the way, I just didn't know what the was going to come next. I really had no idea where content was going to take me, man. And every single month since I came back, you guys have shown me time and time again how lucky I really am to have this many people watching and have this many people actually with me enough. I just want to say thank you, gentlemen. Seriously. This is not the best job to have when it's coming to taking care of for the next 10 years, for the next 20 years, for the next 30 years. And with every day that I stream and every time you guys sub, I legitimately find out that we can make this work a little bit longer. But for those that are really like watching because you care even a little bit about what the going on in my head, I just want you guys to know how much I appreciate y'all.
After 15 years of the highs and lows, of wins and mistakes, it was clear people weren't tuning in just for the gameplay. They were tuning in for him. The community had carried him through it all, and in that moment, he knew none of this would exist without them.
I miss her a lot. She was a great mom, and that was a great day. So, my dad is my hero, truly. I mean, the things that my family has gone through, my dad being like the head of the household, really like shepherding and making sure that everybody's good. I mean, it just means the world to me. Haley, she keeps me in line, you know what I mean? We're like a puzzle piece together. No matter how bad things get, I know that I get to come home to this. So, very significant in my life.
The fact that all this has worked out so far and the growth has continued, I really do appreciate it, guys.
This might get old for you guys, but for me, this is something that I love to do every single time we hit a milestone like this because it's unbelievable. You guys have changed my life in more ways than one. I mean, I wake up at a house with 3 of my best friends. Hector obviously is here too, so we can say 4. Hex is gonna be at my wedding one day.
It really does mean a lot, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the live stream later today and in the YouTube videos.
All right, that's W.